Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. All right then, let's head into today's conversation.
And unfortunately and sadly, we are bringing to a close our discussions on how to get rich. And so today we'll be tackling the last episode, episode 8. And we have some success stories to share with you. We have been following these interesting characters from the beginning. And it's good to see the progress they've made throughout the show and then the benefits they are reaping at the end of the show. So, I don't know, Adam, do you have any opening remarks before we get into the conversation, tackling our individual characters?
Oh, yeah. My opening remarks will just be that, as you said, there have been some successes that have been chalked by some of the characters. We've seen people progress in their journey, and for me, it just shows that the intentionality and the fact that these discussions are even held in the first place is very important to help people to be able to make some adjustments to their lives. And I think that another point I would say is that it doesn't matter the level which you are or at what stage you are in your journey in personal finance. I believe that some changes and some improvements can be made, and then some wins can be chalked or successes can be chalked. Yeah.
That's a really wonderful way for us to start. Thank you very much, Adam. So let's dive into the conversation. Let's look at Drew and Mikey first. So a little bit of background. Ramith met Drew, and Drew had his finances all over the place. He was working a couple of jobs, not enough money to cater for himself, and depending solely on his partner for his needs. And the worst of all, they were not having conversations on their money, and he wasn't revealing the truth about his credit card debt to his soon-to-be partner because they were in the process of arranging for their wedding and all. And so Ramith has helped Drew from, if I remember correctly, episode 3 to this point, and it's very refreshing to see the progress he has made with his partner in terms of talking about their money, him taking accountability for the things he's doing that are making him lose progress on building his wealth, and also making sure to make amends with his partner in terms of lying about his credit card debt. And so, Adam, I don't know whether you noticed, but when Ramith sat down with them and took a look at their spending plan, he realized they have no investments at all. And was it Mikey? Mikey just brushed it off and said, "Oh, it is what it is. Let's just get started." You know, they may have had a lot of savings there, but they had no investments. So, just for clarity, can we highlight the difference between investments and savings for our audience?
Yeah. So basically, there's this distinction between savings and investment. Mainly, savings is just putting aside a portion of your income or your earnings or money that come into to your hands for a rainy day. Basically, that's how I would say it. For a rainy day, it's putting aside. You can save in your house. You can put it in the susu box. You can put it under your pillow. You can save at the bank. Or you can save with maybe some people save with, let's say, some form of susu group, like informal group or something. Like all those things are kind of savings. Now, but with investments, you are going beyond saving with trying to put your money to work. So there are different kinds of investments. We have straightforward, or simple investment, like some of the government bonds or treasury bills, as we normally talk about most of the time. Some of the investment houses out there have investment products, mutual funds. You can also invest in stocks. You can actually invest also in a business, like a private business, put some money into it and then expecting a return. Basically, it's when you put your money into an adventure and then there's a certain return that you expect to get out of it. So mainly that is what investment is about.
Yeah, very good explanations there. So the main difference for investment, you are seeking to put your money aside to help you grow it, and the growth doesn't come cheap. It also comes with a risk. So with savings, I mean, Adam mentioned keeping it under your pillow, or it doesn't come with any, or it comes with minimal risk. But with investments, because you're seeking to grow your money, it also comes with risks attached, and you should be informed about all these things before you invest. And talking about being informed before you invest, we'll get to that in a later point, in the later part of the show, actually. But the part about not having investment at it dawned on me that the idea is not far-fetched, especially when you come to Africa or Ghana. A lot of people can have a lot of savings, but nothing in investments. And from the conversation Ramith had with Drew and Mikey, the first point was they weren't earning enough. And it is very true for those of us in Africa, especially Ghana as well. You could say, okay, no matter what you earn, you could put something down. That something you are putting down is actually your savings. But talking about investment, a lot of us don't have investments because, one, you could say the incomes are very low and the skills could be okay, it's just a function of the system, low income levels exist. And so it gets you thinking, okay, this is a systematic problem. The low income levels exist. Everybody knows that. How do I break the loop? How do I, in a third world country, do my best to earn more, save more, and get some to also invest? And one thing I realized most that can help is upskilling. It's knowledge always rewards, I saw this quote when I was reading someone's tweet a while back. I've just forgotten the person. And it says, and I quote, "Capitalism rewards things that are both rare and valuable. You make yourself rare by combining two or more pretty goods until no one else has your mix. And probably none of the skills are the best in the world, but together they make a strong package and you'll be in high demand." And as soon as I saw this, I realized this in the show. This also came to mind. In Ghana or Africa, it's very hard to move between jobs or work two jobs at once. It's very hard, very, very hard. But then once you upskill and have two or more skills on your hands, you may not be the best in those skills, but together they make a very good combination, and you can use that to create another income stream for yourself. Adam, I don't know whether you have any thoughts on this.
Yeah, Dennis, I think I agree with what you were saying concerning upskilling and improving our skills, because that's one of the major things that the major challenges that we find with a lot of people. They rarely are able to compete at the highest level because we lack the skills. And once we don't have those skills, then it means then that we are not as valuable as other people are. So in a system where jobs are quite hard to come by, or generally even if you get the compensation is not anything to write home about, then the only other option is to be able to reach out and upskill yourself and get more money out of other areas. And that's what you are. I think what you read was very, very important, that you might need to combine two or more skills here and there to give it that unique blend, because all the time when people are trying to recruit or to hire people, they are asking themselves, what is the advantage you have over any other person? And are you the best candidate to fill this role or this vacancy? So if we are able to upskill, even if you are remaining in a particular job or a particular place, you could leverage that skill to earn maybe additional income, or let's say a side hustle. Okay, all those things come down to being skillful and having the ability to do so many things. So in a case where you find yourself where the income is the challenge, you are not earning that much, then it is very, very important that if you're able to get other sources of income, which will then come out of the result of the skills you have, it's very, very important. So I think that fact that you just mentioned is a very, very important thing, and it's very good.
Yeah, exactly. And so we don't need to be making excuses all the time. I mean, when you go to LinkedIn, for instance, anyone who is active on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of people with corporate jobs, but not with another second job, you say, but with another very powerful skill. So I'll take, for instance, I'll not mention, okay, let me see who is popular. So Edward Asari. Everyone who is active on LinkedIn in Ghana knows Edward Asari. Why? He combines his day job as a digital marketer at a bank with his public speaking skills. The public speaking, it's not really a job on its own, but he earns something on the side in addition to his income. And so there are a lot of examples of these when you speak to people. Doesn't matter the skill that you want to learn. Once you combine all these little skills and you have a mix of very different skills, you combine your job 9 to 5 with your graphic designing skills. You get to become the official graphic designer for your company. A whole lot of examples. Once you're able to figure out what works for you, you'll be able to create more income for yourself, and then you can say, okay, I have this much in my account. I'm saving this much. I have this much left. Let me invest it, and then you'll be on your way to financial independence. And so, I think on Drew and Mikey's story, they give us a lot of lessons from that. And I was happy to see Drew paying Mikey back for the wedding cost. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, God, when will I see this in my homeland, Ghana? Because once you pay for the wedding, it's free. The money is gone. I don't know whether Adam, you've experienced that before, but it was a nice gesture. It was a nice gesture. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I think it was I also thought it was a nice thing for him to start taking some kind of responsibility, because it was like he didn't want it to be like the wedding was just handled by just Drew, that he also contributed a portion to it. And I think that was a good idea, and that was a good thing to happen. And so these are some of the lessons that we can learn, that even for someone who was not earning that much, he was trying to work a way towards like, okay, I am contributing towards this to help this project. Even though I didn't have the money up front, he provided it. But it's not as if he has provided and that's it. But I will also work hard and then pay it back off in my own time. And I think that's some of the way we can live with people that are around us. Sometimes people just make an excuse that, hey, I don't have enough money. But, you could actually work out a certain way, maybe pay gradually so that you can also contribute, or let the person who has the wherewithal do it upfront, and then you then pay the person back. All those simple things are showing that you are also thinking and you are being thoughtful. Yeah.
Yeah, very good points there. So our ladies, we beg. I'm sure for this particular episode, I'll let the future Mrs. Cole take come and watch, so that she knows what I'm also planning. Yeah. So those were very good lessons we learned from Drew and Mikey. Let's quickly switch to Reggie and Sarah, and let's give a bit of color to their story. So Reggie and Sarah, they are also, just like Drew and Mikey, preparing to get married. And Reggie is sort of a stick for the rules. So you could say he's very careful with his money. He likes planning where every single city or in their story cent goes. And Sarah is the exact opposite, not so much. She doesn't really care about where the money goes, and that, as long as it satisfies her needs. So in the previous episode, I mean, they are still planning for their wedding, and Sarah, goes shopping for her wedding dress, and she's already considering exceeding her budget for the wedding dress. And you remember, if you listen to the previous episode, that once they do this, it could open Pandora's box, basically. It would set a bad precedent. Okay, we've exceeded the wedding dress. Now the venue, we want this, so we will exceed. And by the time you realize you've exceeded your entire budget and it's blown out of the water. So that's the concern now, coming into this episode. And now, with that in mind, and after talking to Ramith, they are now considering asking their family for assistance. And it's not sitting well with Reggie. It's not sitting well with Sarah. Because Reggie, he stopped asking for money from his parents during high school as a teenager. Sarah, similar, because there's some feeling of shame going back to them after growing. They feel they've grown and all of that. And my thoughts on this were that, if I were in the same situation, I would have also had mixed feelings. Because personally, relating it to my story, a lot of family members have helped me in my upkeep, in my education, and all of that. And although it remains unspoken, you know that a day will come where the black tax will become due. A day will come, they will call on you to help. And so to go back to them again, asking for money, not for, I wouldn't say marriage is not serious, but in this context, not for a very serious matter, not for a life-threatening issue, not for health issues, but for a wedding, I would feel the same way as Reggie and Sarah. I would feel ashamed. I would, I don't know. I sort of related to them in their dilemma, and I don't know. Adam, would you feel the same, or you go head front and then just ask?
As for me, there to feel some very way, because you know how it is like when you have grown up to a point, and in our context where sometimes our families have already started depending on us in a way. Now when it gets to things like this, it's going to be quite difficult to say you are going to reach out to your family members to help you to pay for your wedding. In certain instances, sometimes it all depends on the timing. In certain places, some families are able, even right from the get-go, how elaborate it's supposed to be and how grand it's supposed to be. You realize the family members already are having a say in that, and they are actually making arrangements in terms of catering for aspects. So when it comes to those type of situations, well, those people don't really have too much of a problem. But where you are sort of like a main person who a lot of people already are relying on, maybe you have junior siblings and things looking up to you for some monies and stuff like that, and you also have older parents and all of that, it's quite going to be a difficult task. When this got to this stage about them having to revert to their parents, well, looking at how it ended up, I could understand, but at the beginning I was wondering, if the thing your budget is not, why won't you cut it down? I mean, I just felt they should just cut it down, because it was not a matter of, it was just a matter of their taste. Some of the venues they were going for were already high. The dress, last you mentioned, was already expensive over the budget of what they had planned for, and all of those things. So I was just thinking that why wouldn't they just try and cut down some of these things and then fit within their budget? But it looked like the family was well to do, or like was in the position to support and assist, because if you realized when they finally went to meet the family, I think both sides each pledged, is it $10,000 or so, or I don't know whether it's 10,000 each. I've quite forgotten, or it was together they were all going to give $10,000, whatever it is. They provided help. So I mean, this is not. This should tell us that, well, they were in the position to help. So I believe that is why that room was left, and then after they realized they were tight, they could fall back on it. But some people, we know some of our backgrounds and things. We know that there's no $10,000 anywhere that you can run back to go and add. So if you are doing, you better stick to your budget and stick to it properly. Else you will run into debt, and that's, for me, I don't think it's a good idea to start off a marriage on debt. Yeah.
And you would realize the question you were asking yourself about, why not stop the marriage, the wedding, until you are prepared. Ramith also asked himself the same question, and then replied that it's a culture issue. So, for instance, he's Indian. So in India, weddings are very important to them. So in some sense, they would do whatever it takes to have the wedding. Maybe that's a part where I wished he would have shed more color, because wedding is very important in every culture. Who doesn't like happy endings, But if I know I'm not financially prepared, why would I go into this? And as you said, you make a very excellent point about their families being in the position to help, Maybe they didn't want to fall on the family for the wedding, but at the back of their minds, at the back of their psychology, they knew that even if the parents or the family was in the position to help, sometimes our minds work in strange ways, but maybe they were not predicting, but the mind was predicting for them that, just do your thing. The family is there. But for us, most of us in Africa, most of us in Ghana, we don't have that luxury. So you have to plan to the dot and make some small allowance for overspending, because most of the time they will come. Yeah. So very good points there shared, Eden. And contrasting that with a couple that almost have everything perfectly in place. They have investments, they have assets that are generating revenue for them. They are okay. In a Ghanaian sense, they are okay. Just with a small caveat when it comes to their risk appetite. Let's talk about Reggie and Sarah. So a little background from the previous episodes. Christian and Millie, sorry. So Christian and Millie, I said earlier, they have a lot of things going well for them. But the one thing that is bothering Christian and Millie is day trading. So Christian offered some background that during COVID, he has built all these income streams for himself. He's doing a 6-figure job, he's okay. But he had taste for more and thought to try out a DraftKings stock on a platform called Robinhood, if I'm not mistaken. And from the day he bought it till now, from this episode, he has lost approximately $100K on that. And he's even scared to open the app to check his losses. And it brings out this very important point that was highlighted on the screen. Whoever watched the episode will also see what I saw, that your investment plan is more than your investment. If you don't make that plan, have a very tactical approach. Even if it's not very tactical, an approach already before making an investment, either planning by yourself or with an advisor, you are putting your money at an even greater risk of being wiped out in the market. Because being in the market already, you're already at risk. Adam, I don't know your thoughts about that, how Christian and Millie were handling it.
Yeah, hello. I thought that, like for Christian, it looked like it had become an addiction. And, at a point when he was asking him to, just move the money out, like just cut your losses and move it. It seemed to be a difficult thing for him to do, because he said, oh, what if it bounces back? And it is the same thing that happens with any form of gambling. It is, sometimes people pass this joke or comment and say it is the hope that kills. When people are in a gambling situation, putting their money at such risk and all that, and they are losing, at the back of their mind, they always feel that, oh, it's possible to bounce back. Oh, it's possible to bounce back. And that's what keeps them going in it. And sometimes they keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, or even adding more money, taking more positions. If it is a bet, betting more. If it's some other form of gambling, all with the hope and the anticipation that they will turn the corner or hit that one big jackpot. And that's where I see Christian falling into that situation where he was hoping that, he would get something, it will bounce back. But, like Ramith said, if he had just taken just a small portion of his income and then put it into that, then it would have made sense. But when he was asking him that how much percentage of your income you have put into this, he could not even tell, because he couldn't even remember, because it's not something that was in his mind. He was just putting in his mind, he's investing, this is a good opportunity. So he was just pushing money there. But I think like what came on the screen before that scene came up about, it's what matters really is even more of the plan than even the investments you have. I think it's a very, very important and a profound statement that how you plan through, how you are thinking through, the strategies you have set out, those are actually very, very important than even how much money you have just pumped anywhere. Because it is those plans and then it is those strategies that if you follow step by step, will be able to help you to be able to hit the wealth that we are all expecting and anticipating. Yeah.
Very, very good points there mentioned, Adam. And from their conversation, Ramith was asking them questions about when they think they will be ready, when they think at what point will they think they are rich, And he just told them, you are rich, you just don't live rich. And they came to realize, okay, we've done pretty good for ourselves here, And that's where they were able to revisit the conversation about Christian retiring his mom and all of that. So it goes to show you could be doing everything right, but sometimes it's the little thing. Who would have thought Christian and Millie, under 30 years, with all that they've done, build income streams for themselves, have real estate property that's building income for them. Christian has a well-paying job, 6 figures within his 20s. Who would have thought that gambling or betting on a single stock would be a problem for him? But it's a problem for him. And so no matter how much you have, no matter where you are in life, problems will come from anywhere. But then, as Christian did, he was willing to change. He was willing to accept Ramith's counsel. And he did that. And in the end, we had happy endings, The show ended on a very happy note. I don't know, Adam, do you want to tell us about Christian and Millie's happy ending, if you remember?
Oh, yes. When they went and met Christian's mother, who they went to surprise her about the plan to retire in maximum of 2 years. It's something that has been on Christian's heart for, since he joined the show, or since they came on. It's something that has been on his mind and he's been wanting to do. And his mom was also very, very happy, and she was very surprised and taken aback, because at least now, after a while, she would also not need to work because they have sorted her out in terms of her retirement. Yeah.
Yeah. Achieving one of your biggest goals, no feeling in the world can be matched to that. It was a really happy moment for him, a really emotional moment for all of them. And, we all hope to reach those points where we achieve the financial goals we set for ourselves and even every goal we have in life. And so it was a very good reminder that the small steps count, the tiny steps you are making now to build your income, to build yourself, they will all count in the end. You just need to give yourself time and everything will work out. And talking of happy endings, Drew also got a job. So if you would remember from the previous episodes, one of his biggest goals was to stop relying solely on Mikey, his partner, and then, try to earn something for himself to cater for his needs. And we were happy to see that he got a new job, paying him, I think, is it twice or thrice what he's earning? and then moving towards his goal. And also, we also had Reggie and Sarah. Also, they also overcame their fear of asking their family for help. We were able to ask for help, and then hopefully, we didn't see the wedding in the show, but we hope that they will have their happy wedding. So, Adam, I don't know whether you have any thoughts on Drew's happy ending or Reggie and Sarah's, whichever you want.
I think that for Drew, it was a nice thing to see him getting a job and now making, like you said, having the amount of money that he had. And he was also successfully able to, and it meant that now he would be contributing more because, as we said from the beginning, the challenge was that they were not earning enough. So with him landing this job will mean that more income into the family, and that was a good thing. With Reggie and Sarah starting from they being able to meet their parents and having them pledge to support them with, I think, $10,000. That was also a very nice and relieving thing, because at least they were able to overcome their fear. And their family were good to go, like they were happy about it. And how they also met with their family and some people. I think they had some engagement party and what have you like that. And all that was nice to see that all these things came about as a result of careful planning and walking through the process, because if they hadn't, they would have been blinded in the steps they were taking. For Reggie and Sarah, they might have ended up going to spend far more than they had planned, and maybe, you never know, it might not have had a happy ending as we have seen it right now. Yeah,
very, very good points raised there. And we are always happy to see happy endings, everything goes nice and smooth. Everything is okay. We are also happy to see, although we are behind the screens, and unfortunately we didn't see the happy endings of some other characters in the show who we really wanted to see, but I'm really sure that they will cover them in the next season, if and when it is released. And so we will be on the lookout for that, to cover that as well when that is released. But overall, it's been a wonderful coverage of How to Get Rich. It's given us a whole lot of lessons. We've dissected the episodes in so many ways, learned so many lessons, and even some of the lessons were applicable in our own lives. You could say it was in the US setting, but some principles are general, some principles are universal, and we've learned so much. And so if you would like to revisit our conversations, you can replay the conversations here on X, or you could go to Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast and search for Money Convos, GH. And you can listen back to all the conversations we had from episode 1 right down to this episode 8. And so, Adam, I don't know whether you'll have closing remarks to close out How to Get Rich. Do you have any closing remarks for us?
Yes, I think it's been an interesting season. As you were saying, lots of the things are relatable, even though it's in a different culture and a different country with different kinds of people. You realize then that as for money is very important. And you see that, especially in this context, a lot of it was relationship-based issues. If you notice, almost all the characters were either in some form of relationship or they were married. It's just, I think, is it Frankie and the other lady from the beginning, and then the very rich woman who was always overspending. Those are just a few people who they were just single, but still they had to relate with other people. So as for money, it's very, very important, and how it affects relationships. And I think Ramith even mentioned it in this episode about how it's very, very important that married people talk about their finances and have conversations. And we've seen how all these people, it has improved their families or their marriages or their relationships just by talking and looking at it together, planning together, and looking ahead together. So I think it just goes to tell us that money is very important. All the discussions we've been having over here in the past and all of that, all these things matter and they help. So I think that it's a good show. Anybody can just go on Netflix and go and find it and watch it and learn one or two things out of it. And I believe that we can all put our money affairs into order and become much more financially independent people. Yeah.
That's a very good way to close out this season on how to get rich. Thank you so much, Adam. And a very good point. I think I didn't realize it. Most of the conversations and stories were about relationships. So I'm also taking my cue. Maybe it's God pinching me that my son, plan before getting into one because can get messy. I'm also taking my own. I'm also taking my advice. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you so much, Eric, for also joining the conversation. So next week, we'll bring you another very interesting conversation. Be on the lookout on our profile for some details. And once you listen to this, don't just stop there. Take steps to secure your financial future. So when you get to Instagram, after watching all your reels, or even before watching your reels, go to your search and search for investment_friend. And there, we take practical steps to help you manage your money and also move you towards your financial goals. So just send a DM to the investment_friend and be on the lookout for much more content that can help you move towards your financial goals. And so thank you so much for making the time to join us for this conversation. As mentioned earlier, we will bring you another very interesting conversation next week. Be on the lookout. Stay safe, stay strong, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.